Story 1. I still have to justify my purchases. My wife absolutely hates it, but if I cannot truly justify a want purchase, I do not do it. For example, we are at the mall and I see a shirt I really like. I will debate on it, stew on it, thinking I already have a certain number of shirts. Do I really need this? What makes it better than my other shirts? Is the quality better? Does its color go better with my other pants? Does it fit better? Often the answer is no, but I have spent 20 minutes pacing in the mall window shopping with my wife, debating on a $30 shirt that I do not buy. Story 2. I will not leave food on my plate. This does not help with weight control, but when you grow up knowing that if you do not eat it, that is money wasted, it is a really hard habit to break. Story 3. I use items until they break. I have more than enough money to buy a new television, but I am still using my father's old television from 20 years ago. It has high definition, a 40-inch screen, and is a flat screen. There is no reason to change it, even though I often want a better one. Story 4. I volunteer to do groceries for all my immediate family and my girlfriend's family. They think I am doing it as a favor, but my main incentive is to get the frequent buyer points so I can get discounts when I shop. Story 5. I still save all my grocery bags to use for trash bags and other purposes. I buy the cheapest version of items because many generic products taste just as good as name brands. I wear my clothes and shoes until they fall apart. If there are a few things I really want, I try to find the cheapest versions and buy them gradually over a few months rather than all at once. I dilute my juice with water to make it last longer. Story 6. Shopping at places like Ollie's because the large container of crushed red peppers there for $1 is just as good as the $4.99 one from Kroger, even if it is expired. Story 7. When the deodorant runs out, you can still remove the plastic piece and use the remaining product to apply to your underarms. Story 8. I can't bring myself to buy a new car. Instead, I spent several $1,000s to upgrade the stereo and speakers in my 18-year-old Toyota and installed backup and dashboard cameras. I will drive it for at least another 2 years. The upside is that everyone assumes I am poor given the age of the car and leaves it and me alone. Story 9. Trying to go everywhere by walking instead of wasting gasoline. Mending clothing. I do not want to change those habits though. Story 10. Scraping out the soup can, rinsing it with a little water, and adding that to the pot. I have had soup twice where it was not at least a little watered down. I can afford soup. It is just a habit not to waste any stuck to the sides of the can. Story 11. Wasting money on takeout or eating out regularly. I love nice restaurants, but I wait until I am on vacation to go to those. Story 12. My wife uses Libby, the library app, for books. You can check out ebooks or audiobooks from the library for free. It's really cool. She is so used to it that even when a book has a long wait and she really wants to read it, she still won't buy it. We'll go out for a single expensive meal, but she won't spend $10 on a book that she'll enjoy for hours. She waits months until the library copy is available. In fairness, she puts about 10 books on request at any given time, so she always has something to read. Story 13. When staying at a hotel that offers a breakfast buffet, I will eat as much as I can, then assemble a lunch before I leave. Story 14. Working 2 jobs. I have no real need to work either job, but psychologically, I cannot overcome the fear of not bringing in a stable income. Story 15. I don't throw anything away until it is useless. For example, I still have sneakers that are 25 years old and are now my yard sneakers. I also have old pants and shirts. Story 16. Enjoying inexpensive food more than expensive food. It sounds strange, but I think a subconscious feeling of, this doesn't seem right, occurs when I eat something expensive in a restaurant. With inexpensive food, I experience a guilty satisfaction. Story 17. For 2 to 3 years during the coronavirus pandemic, my family and I struggled greatly. My father's shops closed. My brother and I both lost our jobs, and I was trying to figure out what to do next. Even now, after the business is doing well and earning good income, one habit I cannot shake is checking prices twice before buying anything, thanks to all those lean days. Once you live through tough times, the save every penny mindset never fully leaves you. Story 18. My wife wasn't poor growing up, but I routinely try to explain to her how valuable her time is and that she shouldn't stress herself out spending 30 minutes to an hour to return something worth $5. Story 19. Still rinsing out shampoo bottles like I am extracting liquid gold. Do you do that too? Or is it just me? Story 20. Stay at quite fancy hotels for the most part. I will take bread rolls at breakfast, get cheese and ham, and that's our lunch snack sorted. I cringe seeing people by the pool who spend crazy amounts on lunch for burger and chips as they use a credit card to live their best life but end up broke after it. Story 21. I have never owned a new car. I use clothes and shoes until they are no longer usable. I have stayed in one house. I do not upgrade televisions or appliances. I use mobile phones until they stop working or are no longer supported. I often do not order drinks when dining out or getting fast food. I rarely wash my car. I fix things or get by with duct tape, glue, and JB Weld. I have had the same luggage, tote bag, belt, suit, and tie my entire adult life. I keep the thermostat on the edge of comfortable to save electricity. I still buy the cheap Parmesan cheese. Story 22. I still cut open a tube of toothpaste or lotion, or fill the body wash container with water to get every last drop before opening a new one. Story 23. Beans on toast, jacket potato and beans, and egg and chips are good meals. Also, eat the same meal multiple nights in a row while it is fresh. For example, make a large pan of broth and eat it 2 nights in a row, and maybe have it for lunch on the 3rd day. Story 24. I still buy cheap clothes and shoes. Like it's just clothes. How is a t-shirt costing 5 to 10 times more any better? Story 25. I wash and dry Ziploc bags and reuse them. I also scoop every bit of ketchup, moisturizer, toothpaste, and laundry detergent until I am scraping the surface of the bottom of the container. Story 26. I finish my plate because poor children in Africa would appreciate this. Don't do this to your kids, folks. Story 27. I never miss a free food opportunity. I work in a large company, and sometimes my coworkers tell me about meetings that just ended in some room where there are snacks left. I have a reputation for eating a lot because of it, but in truth, I don't eat much and often skip meals or eat whatever is cheapest and can keep me alive. Story 28. Goodwill or thrift store shopping. My mom always took us there as kids. I still remember the smell, the toys we played with, and the clothes that she made us try on. It is hard to let go. I still find awesome items that suit my character. I love it. Story 29. Sometimes I buy things because they are a bargain with no other reason. I might never be able to afford that again. I sneak a peek at what is being put out on the curb to give away, though I have stopped taking it home. I have never owned a new car, only hand-me-downs. I drive them until the monthly average repair cost is more than getting a different car. I buy meat from the last day of sale markdowns and freeze it to use later. I empathize with the poor. I regularly buy lunch for the homeless, students, or interns. Story 30. Working my hardest for the best bonus, just in case one of us loses our job or we get divorced. Story 31. I'm very particular about lights being left on, the refrigerator door being left open, and doors being left open when the air conditioner or heater is on. I have no issue paying an electric bill every month, but I just can't seem to break these habits. Story 32. Takeout, leftovers, home cooking. Shop for the best price per item or weight. Use coupons and sales. Drive for years and years. Story 33. It will not occur to me that I can buy a new replacement for something that technically still works but is old, worn out, broken, taped together, or damaged. I will just use things until they are unsanitary, falling apart, unsafe, or no longer fit for purpose. This applies even to inexpensive items like a plastic kitchen strainer or measuring jug. Story 34. I never buy anything expensive at full price. Cars, televisions, phones, and so on. I get the best, but I bargain hunt for the best possible price. I will wait a few months to get something on sale. Story 35. Consistently budgeting and tracking every dollar spent. The advantage is I have caught thousands in erroneous charges and mistakes by companies. We are able, in a sense, to live beyond our means by living below our means due to hard stops on fun and entertainment spending. The extra cash becomes available by focusing on long-term outcomes instead of short-term wants. I have friends who make way more than me who are jealous of our lifestyle because we did not overspend on a vanity mansion or just maintain older vehicles rather than constantly leasing new high-end cars or sport utility vehicles. Budgeting and micromanaging funds used to be a survival necessity. Now it is like a superpower that helps nip lifestyle creep in the bud with little to no pain. Story 36. Hoarding unnecessary items. I am talking about napkins and ketchup packets from restaurants, thinking I am going to eat very well in a post-apocalyptic world. Story 37. Cutting cheddar cheese so thin you can almost see through it. If my kids say, "Please, Dad," I end up blowing their college funds by going to a theater for a movie they know damn well we're going to skip and instead visit the dollar store across the parking lot for everything they want to eat or drink. Popcorn excluded, of course. I'm not a sadist. More recently, it's limiting meat to whatever the loss leader is that week. Speaking of which, nailing 2 back-to-back days as in the last day of the old loss leader, then going the next day when corporate changes the program to the new meat discount feels like winning a gray ops battle. The worst was with my oldest too, especially the oldest. I started using the same stupid, borderline verbally abusive phrases I learned from the toxic twins, like, "Do you know how much that costs? You're a real pain, goddammit. You are going to eat everything on your damn plate, and you are not leaving the table until you do." Isn't ingraining food insecurity concerns and unhealthy eating habits that make kids feel fat because you gave them an adult serving, somewhere in your warped gray matter subconsciously, you never actually trust that the food won't just disappear for a few days? In case anyone is bored and feels like scolding me like I'm Stalin 2.0, approximately 10 years ago, when I realized how I ended up with a food problem and was doing some of the same stupid things, I made a conscious decision to stop. I sat my oldest 3 down and gave them a face-to-face apology. You can't just flip a switch. It takes time, but it is doable. Story 38. We were not extremely poor, but I still wear clothes until they fall apart. I still buy some clothes at thrift stores. I still have my car, a 2004 Jeep. I still buy mostly store brand or off-brand groceries. We still cook almost all meals and only go out to eat about once every other week. Story 39. Why would I shake them? They are what helped me build wealth. Only a madman would throw out the secret to their success. Story 40. Everything. I am a nurse, so not exactly rich, but I can splurge from time to time. However, I usually do not. My clothes are all over 10 years old. I only fill up gas on payday, do not eat out, have never been on vacation, do not have a television, drive an old car, wash plastic bags, reuse foil, and throw out about a grocery bag of trash each month. Groceries cost about $30 per week. I grew up without money, and nothing has changed. I was never really a big consumer. Story 41. Wear clothes until holes appear. Keep a small mix and match basic wardrobe. I won't fill up my gas tank past a certain point. I love going to the grocery store in the morning and grabbing the manager's special half-price meat to eat that night or freeze. Story 42. I probably grew up middle class, but my parents were poor. Even though I make 6 figures plus now, I still can't help but peruse items during garbage day. I like to sell things if they are working and sometimes pick something up to fix and sell later. Story 43. Everything I do is do it yourself before I attempt to hire a contractor or professional. Everything except electrical and plumbing, especially heating rather than the average sink or toilet fix or replacement. I avoid those tasks. It makes me feel great having this wealth of knowledge. However, I haven't valued my time as much. I have slowly started to change that mindset with services that give me back time during the day. Dog waste pickup in the backyard. Cleaners to supplement my wife's cleaning while I do all the cooking. My main focus now is lawn care. I could pay someone to mow and edge, but I would rather relax and mow every other Saturday morning. Story 44. Cheap clothes. I still like European deals from McDonald's. I wear my shoes until water comes in. I hate spending money on beauty products. Story 45. I watch YouTube or use chat generative pre-trained transformer to fix or repair any problems. This has saved me at least $50,000 over the past few years. Story 46. Cars. I took my dad's advice, he was a Depression-era kid, and ride them into the ground. Many of his Depression-era tenets have greatly impacted my life, and our world would be a better place if we followed the simple life he lived. I try not to waste anything, and take nothing for granted. I use the toothpaste to the bitter end, wear out my clothes, have a garden, eat more vegetables and less meat. Ironically, both my parents called these depression dishes, and be helpful and considerate of others. The greatest generation. Story 47. The two habits my partner still does not understand are never leaving my plate unfinished and ignoring expiration dates on many items. If it looks, smells, and tastes good, then it is still good. Obviously, some things are excluded from this rule. Story 48. I never buy anything brand new. I thrift all my furniture and clothes. I also can't fathom buying any beauty product that costs more than $20, or for that matter, anything over $10. Story 49. Standing in an aisle for 10 minutes, comparing and thinking about whether to buy the item for $1.69 or the other one for $1.19, and if the extra 50 cents are really worth it. Story 50. I reuse paper towels only after using them to dry clean my hands. I water down juice, pick up every bit of change I find, repair clothing, and jury-rig broken things because they are still somewhat usable. Replacing them would cost a lot. It drives my partner insane. Story 51. My car has 300,000 miles. Why would I get a new one? This one is perfect, and I would make next to nothing selling it. Also, coupons and deals are important. I had a friend who always said, "Coupons make me feel poor." Newsflash, man, you are poor. Story 52. Cutting apart lotion and shampoo bottles to avoid wasting any product. Also saving food scraps for soups. Story 53. Feeling excited about some crazy cheap deals, then spending 5 times on something run-of-the-mill which counteracted the savings easily. But the thrill of a good deal. Story 54. I just don't buy a lot. When I do, I use whatever it is until it no longer functions. The phone I am typing on is 7 years old. It is almost to that point, but I am waiting for it to stop working completely. Story 55. Unless I start immediately sweating once I get in my car, I will roll the windows down instead of using air conditioning. Story 56. Buying used cars. I bought my first car in the junior year of high school, a $600 Plymouth Volare. I have been buying used cars ever since. I cannot imagine spending more on my car than I did for my house. Story 57. Box macaroni and cheese. I outgrew sugar and sweet things and eat healthy for many meals, but that box macaroni and cheese still hits. Story 58. I have a hard time justifying any purchase except for food, which I always overbuy. If I buy something really nice, I sometimes never use it afterwards. For example, some very good quality drawing paper that I have not used in over a year. Story 59. Using half of a sheet of paper towels has always been our practice, even when purchasing generic paper towels. Now that we can afford premium paper towels, my children and I still tear the select-size paper towel sheets into halves or thirds. Story 60. I do exhaustive research on anything I purchase for myself. If I worked the same amount of time, I could likely buy 3 times as much. Story 61. If I get some kind of new food and it tastes bad, or I just cook something and it tastes bad, I'll eat the whole thing to avoid wasting food. Story 62. Getting the last bit out of the lotion bottle. I will cut it open and scrape out everything to put in a refillable container. Story 63. Getting desserts, soda, or appetizers at a restaurant, or even going out for desserts in general. A friend invited us to Handel's ice cream, and it was like $10 for ice cream that tasted just like the grocery store. Shakes are about $8 at fast food joints. I am not buying that. Story 64. I thrift a lot of my clothes. I have come to enjoy the treasure hunt, and it is hard to pay full price when the quality is not much better than used. Story 65. Couponing and making meal plans based entirely on what is on a good sale that week. Wearing clothing until it completely falls apart. If there are leftovers, I have them for lunch. If there are no leftovers, coffee and water are lunch. Story 66. Purchasing manager special meat at Kroger, mainly boneless, skinless chicken breast, which constitutes 90% of the protein I consume. Story 67. My girlfriend and I live very comfortable lives. We buy whatever we want and have a large emergency fund. She still walks through the house turning off lights as if they cost 25 cents a minute to keep on. Story 68. Parking. I do not care if there is a readily available parking garage right across from where I need to be. I am parking a half-mile away on a residential street with free parking. I did not have a car for the longest time because I could not afford it. Now that I have money, you are telling me I have to pay for the car taxes, pay the registration fee every year, then pay to insure the car, pay to fill it with gas, pay my taxes for roads, and also pay to park the car? No. Story 69. Still cut my own hair. Fix and maintain my own vehicles. Wear shoes until they completely fail. Compare prices and look for items on sale. Story 70. It's habits in my case. I still buy some clothes at secondhand stores. If I buy new ones, I wear them until they go into the rag bin. I don't waste food. I don't buy on credit. I may charge things but pay off each month, so there is no fee. I still keep a budget. I don't have cable or air conditioning. I dry clothes on a line or rack. Story 71. Adding water to the spaghetti jar after emptying out the sauce or any container to get every last bit of it. Story 72. Stealing jumbo rolls of toilet paper from work. I'm talking about those rolls as big as a tire. I haven't paid for toilet paper in years. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.